everybody. We've got JFK, we've got Epstein, we've got Zelensky, we have got Trump. But most importantly, we have got Lionel Nation. Prepare to come out of your state of animated suspension. We are live, laughter, frolics, but serious issues, folks. Get your questions in, and don't forget, follow Lionel. His links are in the description box. If you see me lean over like this, it's just because I'm picking baby Ziggy up. He's running around the room like crazy after he's recovered from his rash.
Because your syncope is back.
My syncope.
Syncope.
Syncope,
yes. By the way, I don't know about you, but mispronunciations, or as my friend would always say, mispronunciations.
Freudian slip.
Do you know Victor Davis Hanson? You know who he is, right? Victor Davis Hanson.
No.
Okay, good. He is an intellectual type here, and he's on Fox. I think he died in 1988, but nobody told him. Anyway, he's dead. He can't. He pronounces words like I just heard him right now. He said the Gulf. He's trying to say the Gulf of America, which President Trump had renamed. He calls it the Gulf of America. And just people who just prostrate surgery and supposedly and Tijuana. People who go to Tijuana, it's Tijuana. Anyway, it drives me crazy. But enough about that. Enough about me. How about those JFK files?
So what does it all mean, Lionel? Have you read through them yet?
Limited hangout. Nothing. The only good thing, though, and I will say this, is that it gives people the kind of a reminder about how awful and terrible the government is in terms of intel and hiding and doing terrible things. And what happens is, I can't speak for you. Whoa, hey, I can't speak for you. I can't speak for you or the UK or your fine Brits. But in our country, give somebody an old 4th, 5th generation document, have it say secret, put a circle around it or block it in red and go, aha! And they'll say, well, what is it? Aha! And then they come up with these ideas. Look, the bottom line is simply this. We don't know who actually pulled the trigger. But I think everybody does know that it was a conspiracy. And let me remind the world, a conspiracy doesn't mean crazy. It means more than one person. If you act alone, you're on your own. If you confederate with somebody else, you conspire. From the Latin word conspirare, to breathe together. That's all it means. It just means that there's more than one. And the idea that Lee Harvey Oswald acted on his own, but it was something. President Trump is trying his best to look, bless his heart. He's trying to unleash. Now, the Epstein matter is another story. There he is. JG. Hey. Oh, hey. What are you doing? What are you doing? Is that you? Whoa, incoming. Hit the deck. Fire in the hole. How are you? My point exactly, my friend. My point exactly. I didn't know you spoke Italian. How are you? What it look like? How's it hanging? Sometimes it be like that. Got to be careful.
Keep rolling.
Oh no. But anyway, but this morning, the people that drive me crazy, and I think Ziggy would agree, are these JFK experts, these historians who say nothing. They keep repeating the same thing over and over again, and they say, "Yeah, but who killed Kennedy?" Well, that's the problem. But you see, the landlady and it was a Manicure Carcano, and it was a Mauser. Yeah, but who killed Kennedy? I know. See, even he knows. I feel the same way. It's annoying. They say, by the way, don't delete. But I appreciate the historians, the JFK types. But the thing is, they don't tell us anything new. They just sit around in this kind of a quasi masturbatory sense to see who knows more minutia and more arcana and more recondite nonsense. That drives me crazy. But have you met these people? Have you ever talked to JFK people before? I can't hear you.
We've had loads of JFK. We've had loads of JFK people on. Some of them are absolutely fascinating. We had Lee Harvey Oswald's best friend from Russia on, Ernst Titovitz. That was absolutely fascinating.
So who killed Kennedy?
A conspiracy including the CIA.
No, who killed him? Who pulled the trigger? Who was the gunman? Who was the? They have no idea. I don't care about this.
Multiple, possibly. We think.
No, but how does he know this? I mean, with all due respect, seriously,
it's not necessarily what he said. It's just, there's no way Oswald could have done it on his own, is there? With that wonky weapon.
Well, but we've known that for I don't know how many years. What do we know that's new? Even Ziggy knows. What happens is I've never seen anything where more people get together and they just regurgitate the same stuff. Yeah, I know it's not, or it was a conspiracy. I know that. We know that. Everybody knows that. So what do we say? But they love to say, we don't understand. See, it was a Mannlicher Carcano. And when they found the rifle, it said Mauser, but it really wasn't. It was a Mannlicher. And then Payne, who was the woman who had the boarding house, and Officer Tippett, he had a size 9 shoe versus a 10.5. Okay, fine, that's great. Who killed him? Well, I don't know who killed him, but it was somebody. And then they'll say it was a CIA. How do you know it was the CIA? I want to go to a jury.
So isn't the CIA the enforcement arm for vested interests? Huge corporate interests, huge geopolitical interests.
Prove it. But I mean, yeah, that's great. And listen, I'm not trying to give you a hard time because I think I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm a lawyer by profession. I want to go to a jury and say, okay, ladies, it is a CIA. Why? Because this guy says he was a CIA and there was a CIA contractor. His name is Sean Atwood, and he was a contractor, and he said he killed him. That will be good, as opposed to, well, you see, I see it's a military industrial complex. It's Israel, and it's why? Well, because of the I love the way because JFK had a beef with Ben Gurion. Listen to me. Look, you know enough about the criminal justice system, I think, not just by virtue of just doing what you do. You have to prove something. I can't say, I don't know. You probably, no. Give me, whether it's Diddy, Jay-Z, SBK, whoever, Ted Bundy. You can't merely throw this kind of a stuff like we all do. Now, politically, we all know this. Tell me something new. Here is the most important information that I want everybody to think about, which I ask somebody this question. Whenever you meet somebody who says, well, you know, Lee Harvey Oswald, the reason why people are so unable to handle this is because we can't imagine that our prince, not our fingerprints, but a PRINCE, could have been taken from this insignificant. Have you heard that one? The reason why we come up with these theories is because we cannot believe how our golden boy could have been. No, that's not the reason why. The facts don't make sense. But the most important piece of information is how there was evidence of a bullet, a round that went through the windshield or the windscreen when the car is moving away from the Texas school book, the Texas school book suppository, as I call it. That's it. Thank you very much. Good night. Your witness. That's a conspiracy. That's it. You can talk now. Who was that person? Well, we can talk about all kinds of stuff. That is the most important. Not the idea that, well, the Mannlicher Carcano was difficult to. No. I don't care how hard it was to shoot. It doesn't matter. That is it right there, period. How about the fact that it was immediately sent to some Ford factory in Detroit to replace the windshield of a crime of evidence? What? How about the fact that it was washed immediately? So right there, do you think that they didn't understand the rules of evidence? If that is not, only people in the police or the government could have had access to it. So somebody somewhere, it seems to me, is covering up. But that could have theoretically been an idiot. But a bullet hole around in the windshield, that's it. That's the end of the discussion. Everything else is a matter of if somebody coughs up 62 years ago, who was the person? I don't know. That's it. Everything else is a waste of time. Well, Nixon one time. Oh, Mac Wallace, LBJ's for. That's nonsense. I don't care what that means nothing to me. That's just that explains intrigue. Give me evidence.
Lionel, aren't there people so powerful in the world they don't care about the rules of evidence because they are in an untouchable class? And isn't there a tipping point? It's easy for people to say, so and so did it, the CIA did it, Israel did it, whatever. But we can't use that to discredit the fact that there's a tipping point when enough vested interests become your enemy. Something bad's going to happen to you, basically.
I will tell you right now that in my heart of hearts, he was killed via a conspiracy. And we can identify the name. Let me tell you what I think makes the most sense. Okay. Let's be practical. First, the mindset. 1963, 18 years after the end of World War II. All these people walking around, everybody was a soldier. Everybody had served. Everybody was proficient. Everybody had been in combat. The whole place. It was a different story. We just defeated Hitler. The idea of the OSS and everybody working together and Intel, they could do anything. They could absolutely do anything they wanted. It was a different world. Okay, fine. Now, what they did was, after a period of time, the idea of somebody says, okay, let's meet, what they call it, room 4F or something, that one hotel that LBJ. I think that it makes the most sense for a conversation to be like this. Sean, I think a lot of our problems would be not problems if we didn't have certain people to worry about anymore. You know what I mean? Exactly. That's all I want to know. You got it? Good. I'm going to go to somebody else and say, because I don't want to be somewhere, God forbid, recorded in a room. And okay, everybody vote. Do we whack him? Yes. No, it doesn't work like that. Next, I'm not going to go to somebody called the, quote, CIA. The CIA is going to say, get your ass out of here. I don't know you. Alan Dulles would say, we will talk about this. Capiche? We have contract people. We're not going to go to the CIA. Nobody is going to say, hey, Atwood, yeah, we're going to write down in the document that can be released 62 years later, put that shit. We don't put things into documents. Hey, look, open up this file. Guess what I found? A rifle. Hey, bullet fragments. Here's the president's. What do you think you're going to find in there? Okay, you're not going to find that. But we know, call it what you want. If you and I walk into a place and we see evidence of a homicide, we know somebody was murdered, but we don't know who did it, why they did it. So I understand that. Circumstantially, yeah. But for me to say it was the CIA, no, not necessarily the CIA. CIA could have said, I don't have to do this. The guy was hated by everybody. It was a different world then, too. It was a world. We remember the people in charge just defeated the Axis. They're invincible. Russia was they could do whatever they want. Today, they probably would say, whoa, wait a minute, hold it. Maybe not. Look at this kid in Burton, Pennsylvania, the one who tried to take out President Trump. So anyway, going back to this, it was wonderful, but I want people to realize your government then is still in place now. Don't think that, the people may be different. But that's all I want people to understand. It's just that there were people then who said, we're going to do a palace coup. We're going to do this. We're going to take him out. And let me also ask you, and I want all of your wonderful audience to ask, why are the Kennedys so quiet about this? Just like with the royal family, just like with the Wills, and they never talk about their mother at all. Never. Oh yeah, mom. Yeah. Whatever. They talk more about Megan than they do. It's the weirdest thing. It's almost like we don't talk about it. There are about 18,000 Kennedy family members, cousins, in-laws, in-laws, cousins of the cousins. Bobby Kennedy Jr. never says a word about it. This is the release of the documents regarding the evidence of who killed his uncle. He doesn't say anything. It's the weirdest thing.
Perhaps they don't want to lose any more family members to these people. And if you go to ancient Rome, it's human nature, isn't it? Leaders knocking off each other, rivaling for power. And you said there was a conspiracy. So who do you think are the prime movers in your conspiracy?
Well, let me ask you this, but let me go back to it. Isn't it funny that the Kennedys don't say anything? I just can't get
I think they're scared. I think they're afraid. These people have already wiped out two of the guys.
Sean,
if they speak up,
what is he afraid of? He's got to say something. The world is talking. If ever there was a time for Bobby Kennedy to get a pass on saying, well, good news, we got to get to the bottom of it, it's now. Nobody's going to say one word, Bobby. Say one word and you're toast. Say anything. I'm not going to say anything. No. Just say something. Don't say anything. Well, I'm glad. Okay, that's it. Bang. Come on. He doesn't even talk about this.
Put yourself in his shoes. If you've got a family, two of your family members get whacked, are you at a point where you're just going to turn around and go after the whackers? Or are you going to back down, be quiet, and not risk any more family members getting killed?
No, because they could have been killed now. They're not. There's no deal. But you don't make a deal with these people. You want the whackers to be shut down. You want them to say, "Get the hell out! They're on to us. Beat it." The way to get after the whackers and not be the wacky is to expose them. Two things I've always been fascinated by, which I wish somebody, and I'm not saying it's true, but I would love to pursue it. MK Ultra, which is declassified, you know that. In the case of Sirhan Sirhan and his father, and Mark David Chapman and John Lennon. I'm telling you, it stinks to high heaven. You rarely get people who say, I did what? Yeah, Sirhan, you killed Bobby Kennedy. What? Yeah, because of his views on Israel, on Jordan. What were Bobby Kennedy's? You kill Bobby Kennedy because of Jordan. I don't know what you're talking. You see, look, everybody watching today, we're the freaks, okay? We're the ones that always tell everybody else, no. You don't get it. They're saying, oh, here comes an Atwood again. Oh, God, he lives in La La Land. Sometimes I'd rather have somebody in La La Land I can bring back than somebody I'm trying to push. They want us to be always innocent, always open-minded, never at the point of being really, for lack of a better word, suspicious. We knew some, and it could be, the list of suspects are forever. Let me tell you a couple of people that are really interesting. The guy who probably had more to do with the death of John Kennedy was Bobby Kennedy.
Well, let me get a word in here. So you said that, now is the time to get people to brought to justice, etc. So I think these people operate so dangerously out of the shadows, and any files incriminating them were destroyed at the time.
Oh, yeah.
That to bring anyone to justice,
no.
In an ideal world, that would be the case. But the corruption here is so high, at such a high level of government, of deep state.
Oh,
anyone can take anyone out at any time. So they're probably still afraid that something could happen to them if they pursued it.
No, put it this way: the world is pursuing it. The last thing in the world. Who do they want? Bobby Kennedy? Okay, we're going to show Max Kennedy. Who are the others? One of the I'm trying to think of the ones with Bobby, Max, Carrie, all these others. No. First, they're going to say, we're going to let you go. There is no conspiracy. Nobody's out to get you. That would confirm it.
Because they're not pursuing it. Because they're not pursuing it realistically. That's why there's no risk.
What Kennedy is worth starting this again? Look, if there's one thing we found out, whether it's Seth Rich, go down the list, nobody cares. Hastings, nobody looks at anything. Gene Hackman, they're like, well, he had his heart. Say his wife called she called the doctor a day after she died. Nobody, you can get away with murder here, literally, because Americans, for the most part, are just so stupid. Nothing grabs them. Nothing makes them say, wait a minute. Do you know, I have a list. I have an idea of a show. If you and I did a show, a TV show, I would have this thing. It would be like a dry erase board. And I take these little these Post-it notes, and I would write Hawaii fire, Maui, Lahaina, right? Put it on there. Next, Las Vegas sniper shooting, right? Boom. And then every week or so, bring that out. And I have this woman in like a nice muumuu come out, and we see all these stickers. Go, look at all the stories that we just never followed up on. Never. We never follow up on them. 3 days and we just forget the whole thing. How about, I'm glad to see Kate Middleton looks like she's better. What was that about? Wait a minute. What was all that fake nonsense where they were pretending, where she was sitting in front of some AGI? I don't know what the hell that was. Nothing to see here. Move along. Wait a minute. No, move along. Okay. Well, we're not going to ask any questions about this. Remember, and God bless him. Thank God. You remember how bad your King Chuck was? He's doing great. Wait a minute. What happened with it? I'm glad he's okay. We just say, oh, well, never move along. Move along. That's it. We don't follow through. Name the poison. Name the issue. We have the attention span of a gnat. We give it 3 days, and then I always tell people, don't worry about it. Listen, believe me, tomorrow they're going to forget the whole Kennedy thing. They're going to forget the whole story. They're going to forget everything. They've already forgotten the Epstein files. The files. I love this. I'm saying, what do you think you're going to find in the files? I don't know. We had the Attorney General who said, and tomorrow by 8 o'clock, don't do that. You think somebody will say, hey, listen, folks, got to make sure we have these files, right? Because I'm about to make a goddamn fool out of myself. I'm going to say that we're going to, okay, fine. We're already done with the Epstein files. We're not even talking about it anymore. We're just done with it. It's like, it's boring. Next. You want to talk about Yemen? You want to talk about the Houthis? Next. You want to talk about Gaza? Next. You want to name it. Name the thing which is the most compelling or important to you. Next. It is the strangest thing ever.
So you brought up Yemen and the Houthis. Trump said he was, coming to power to stop wars. But isn't it the case that the military-industrial complex needs 50 to 100 billion of war each year? Otherwise, you're going to end up like JFK. So basically, they've allowed Trump to suppress Ukraine, which is iffy because they've reinstated weapons, money, and intelligence. Meanwhile, they're revving it up against the Houthis and possibly Iran. So, what hope does Trump have when these powerful vested interests seem to override the will of the president every time?
By the way, I want your folks to ask, is it Houthi or Houthi? I don't know.
I hate mispronunciations.
I know. I can't stand them. I always make sure I get the right thing. There's some people. I think it's Houthi that we have heard people say. In any event. Like Hootie and the Blowfish. Hootie. The thing which is the most important. Let's go back. Do you know what they control? Have you seen that little piece of real estate that they control? It's in Yemen. Bab al, no matter what I do, it's called the Bab al, here we go. The Bab al Mandeb. Have you heard this one? The Bab al-Mandeb. Now, doesn't sound like much, right? Bab al-Mandeb. You know what they call it? This is my favorite. It's a great place for you to go and visit. They call it the Gateway of Tears. No, they call it here we go. The Bab al-Mandab Strait. It's called the Gate of Tears or the Gate of Grief. And it's a strait between Yemen and the Arabian Peninsula and Djibouti and Eritrea and the Horn of Africa. And it connects the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden and then on to the Indian Ocean and the Suez Canal. Blah, blah, blah. It is probably one of the most critically important pieces of nautical real estate ever. And it's like this. It's this little tiny thing. And this guy comes out with a beret and a bunch of medals, and he goes, ah, la, 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 and they go, oh, come on. Well, that guy will say, well, watch what we've got drones. You will not be able to get a ship in there. You don't know what this is. We control this. And you took us on? You took us, because you think we're what? Now, for some reason, I don't know, if you put a figurative gun to my head, I'm saying, what did these people ever do to us? I don't know. And if either Israel goes after Iran or through some kind of whatever, it escalates. And Iran says, all right, we've had enough. You think Russia's going to help Iran? You goddamn right they are. Now we're in it. So what are we doing?
So let's go over some of the backstory then.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Colonel Douglas McGregor and Scott Ritter on this. They said that when Trump brokered the ceasefire, the Houthis stopped any kind of attacks on ships.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden, the US is now bombing them, and they've not attacked any ships in months. And they're bombing on the basis that they're attacking ships. So it seems like it's a pretext to escalate war, which I believe is motivated by the military-industrial complex. And I believe they are overriding Trump's will to get all wars wound down.
Well, you're also hearing what people are saying, what Judge Napolitano is doing, and McGregor and Mearsheimer and everybody else. They're saying this is all a proxy war for Israel. Now, whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter. This is the bottom line. This is what they're saying. That we're out there and that Iran backs everything. Iran backs everything. It sponsors everything. All the people and everything. If you have a rash on your arse, it was Iran. They did it. All right. Now, all I know is we had the other day Kash Patel, who is our FBI head, who said, and we're going to make sure that Israel, our number one ally. Now, let me say this right off the bat. Let me just be as clear as possible. I've got no problem with the people of Israel. Love them. I've been twice. Love the place. Is the people wonderful where I've been. Haifa was beautiful. You name it. That's over here. Judaism, I have no concern whatsoever. That's over here. Not anti-Semitic. That's over here. I'm talking about Bibi Netanyahu and a military operation regarding the state of Israel. That's what we're talking about. And in our country, the argument is made, and Napolitano and others are saying that there's this organization called AIPAC, which you've heard, which is basically the Jewish lobby, which they claim owns everybody, and that we're making all this posturing in order to satisfy them, quid pro quo for the monies received, whatever it is. I don't understand, with all the problems, what does Iran have to do with us? What have they ever done? Let me be very clear. I don't care. With all due respect, I don't care. You know, Conor McGregor, by the way, he's a weirdo. He and the Tate brothers, that notwithstanding, what he said about what's going on in Ireland, I don't care. You don't.